Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we're continuing our look at all of the World Championship winning decks for the Pokemon TCG. Worlds is coming up very soon. Yesterday, I believe it was, we looked at the first 4 years of the World Championship winning decks of the Pokemon trading card game. So that means today we need to start off in 2008 with Jason Klaczynski's second, yeah that's right, second win, not his last incidentally, with Gardevoir Gallade. Now, at the time, Gardevoir Gallade, this was not a surprise, not even a little bit. This was the best deck in the format by a mile. And although there were some counters to it, we get to Worlds and Jason Klaczynski wins with Gardevoir Gallade. Now, this really is a deck built around those cards. So Gardevoir EX has the ridiculous Pokepower Telepass that says you can search your opponent's discard pile for a supporter card and use it. Yeah, you get an extra supporter every turn. Not only that, but the attack Psychic Lock did 60 damage and stopped your opponent using any Pokepowers, so consistency and disruption, it's absurd. Gallade could either put a Pokemon down to 50 HP remaining, which is not too shabby, or do 60 damage and you could turn as many face-down prize cards as you like face-up and do 20 more for each one. Obviously, you couldn't do that every turn, but not too shabby. And they're your main attackers in the deck. But we had some support as well. By this point, Clado had entered the Pokemon trading card game with Cosmic Power, and this might be the best card ever printed, honestly. You choose 1 or 2 cards, put them on the bottom of your deck, and then draw till you got 6 cards in your hand. The consistency on offer here was absolutely absurd. Like, there's just a random tech Dusknoir in here. A 1/0/1 line of Dusknoir. Because you've got Dark Palm, if your opponent has 4 or more bench Pokemon, you can choose one to shuffle into their deck. That's incredibly disruptive and honestly really annoying. We had Chatot for early game setup, Mimic for 0 energy, let you shuffle your hand into your deck and draw a number of cards equal to your opponent's. And then we also saw Jolteon Star. When you played it, you put 1 damage counter on each active Pokemon. And then we got our old friend Jirachi EX as well. If your opponent's got a Pokemon EX or Stage 2 evolution in play, you pay 1 less for your attacks. And basically single energy, 30 damage, turn off Pokepowers. You might notice that this is just a baby version of Gardevoir's attack, and yes it is. Use that until Gardevoir's up and rolling. And level X's were around by this point, so we had Gardevoir level X that let you choose your active Pokemon or a bench Pokemon and switch Gardevoir with it. And for 2 energy, just knocked out the Pokemon with the fewest remaining HP. Yeah, not too shabby. Energy cards were a pretty big deal at the time as well. Double Rainbow Energy could only be attached to a non-EX evolution, and it was 2 energy, but it reduced damage you did by 10. But given that you're largely just shutting your opponent down, that was fine. That worked out just okay, honestly. We also had Scramble Energy that could be attached to an evolved non-EX Pokemon. And if you are behind on prizes, it is any free energy. It'll pay Psychic Lock entirely by itself, which honestly isn't too shabby. And we need to give a shout out to Team Galactic's wager here, which let you actually play rock, paper, scissors with your opponent. You both shovel your hand into your deck. The winner gets 6 cards. The loser only gets 3, which is honestly pretty gosh darned important. So that's 2008 and Jason Klaczynski's second victory. But then as we flick forward into 2009, we get another moderately surprising deck with Steven Silvestro's Luxdrill deck. Yeah, that's right. Beedrill won the World Championships. And basically what we had here was largely a Beedrill deck. You had the Beedrill from Rising Rivals that had Flutter Wings, let you search for a grass Pokemon. And then you had the Beedrill from Great Encounters that did 30 damage for each Beedrill you had in play. So the goal here is just make sure you've always got 4 Beedrill and you're hitting 120 for a single energy, which is not too shabby. It's worth noting at the time we had Broken Time Space to let you evolve up immediately, and we had Rare Candy, which let you evolve immediately. You could just go Weedle, Rare Candy, Kakuna, boom, off you go. That was very important. But the thing that made Steven's deck weird was Luxray GL Level X. Now, it is worth noting that there was a couple of multi-energy and a lightning energy in the deck, so you could attack with Luxray, 60 damage, 30 to one of your Pokemon. It was a nice counter for specific things, but also it had Bright Look that just dragged a Pokemon into the active. We didn't have good gusting at the time. This worked very, very nicely. And for what it's worth, you would use Energy Gain to reduce the cost of Luxray's attack, and you would use Poker Turn to be able to pick Luxray up and reuse it. Or you could reuse Crobat G, that when you benched it, put 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. That would be nice. We had Claydol as a helper Pokemon as well, just it was ridiculous draw. Chatot also made an appearance in this deck. And we had Azalf by this point, let you look at your face down prize cards and swap a Pokemon in there into your hand, and then put a card down as a prize. Basically, if you had a Pokemon prize that you didn't want to be prized, Azalf got it nicely. We then had Unknown G, which prevented all effects of attacks done to Pokemon. It was basically a Machamp counter. Machamp got basic Pokemon like Luxray, not a good thing, so it did other stuff, but at the time it was largely a Machamp counter, let's be honest. You swarm Beedrill, you attack, you win. That is what the deck did, and it did it really rather nicely. Oh, and I suppose I should maybe mention Night Maintenance, because you had to recover all your Beedrill so that you could actually then keep going, which was nice. It was kind of important, honestly. You needed to get them back. Was played as a full 4 of, because of how important it was to get your stuff back. But moving forward to 2010, we get one of the most iconic decks ever, LuxChomp. Went and won the Pokémon World Championships. Now, this was another Luxray deck, but this was a full-on Luxray deck, rather than Luxray being teched into a Beedrill deck. Now, Luxray still did what it did before, phenomenal card, but now it's paired with Garchomp C Level X. Oh, I should say this was Yuta Komatsuda, who went and won with this deck. And what we had here was Luxray with Garchomp. Garchomp came around, and it had the Poké Power Healing Breath that just healed all of your Pokemon SP perfectly. Bit too good. Again, Poké Turn would allow you to reuse it. And Dragon Rush that discarded 2 energy from Garchomp to do 80 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. But not only did we have energy gain, we also had double colorless energy, so you whack an energy gain on there, and you double colorless snipe, round and round we go. We also played Dragonite in this deck as a counter to our opponent's Garchomp, because it was that important. But we had a whole host of other SP Pokemon as well. Dialga G had Deafen, that stopped your opponent playing Trainer or Stadium cards. Second Strike could do 70 damage, but it was mostly Deafen to slow the game down in the early game. And then Dialga G Level X turned off all Poké Bodies, not Poké Powers, but Poké Bodies, and could do 80 damage while putting energy into the Lost Zone. Flip a coin till you get tails. For each head, put an energy from the defending Pokemon into the Lost Zone, which is pretty awesome. We also had Crobat G to drop a damage counter, and again, reuse it with Poké Turn. And Luxray GL that made all weakness times 2, which was really important for instance, KOing Gyarados with Luxray, as an example. Oh, and then Bronzong G that could move energy from one of your Pokemon SP to another. You had to put damage on, but again, you can heal it with Garchomp, don't worry. Now, this deck did play Azalf, but it also played Uxie. Because you couldn't play Claydol, you kind of had to play Uxie. When you bench it, draw till you have 7 cards in your hand. Not bad. But then it also had the Poké Power trade-off, if you level X'd it, that let you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one into your hand, and the other at the bottom of your deck. Phenomenal draw all throughout the game with Uxie. It was amazing. Oh, and we kind of have to mention Power Spray here, because if you've got 2 Pokemon SP, you can just stop your opponent's poker power. They use a poker power, you say no. Ridiculously good. And Cyrus's Conspiracy, which really was the engine of these SP decks, you search a deck for a supporter card, which would usually be Cyrus, and then a basic energy and a Team Galactic's Invention trainer card, and you don't mind getting Cyrus every turn because you're drawing with stuff like Yuxi anyway, so you get the Cyrus chain going, and off you go. Oh, and by this point we also had Pokemon Collector, which let you search for free basic Pokemon and bench them. It was an absurdly good card. An absolutely absurdly good card. But from an all-basic deck to a big evolution deck in 2011, we saw the rise of Twinbor. Twinbor was this was won by David Cohen, and it was a Magnezone Emboar deck, which was weird because this was hyped massively. Everyone decided it was terrible, and then it went and won the World Championships. Yeah, never mind, eh? And what you had here was Magnezone with the Poker Power Magnetic Draw that let you draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. And then the attack Lost Burn that let you Lost Zone as many energy as you like from all of your Pokemon. That means you can't get it back in the Lost Zone. And deal 50 damage for each energy you Lost Zoned. How'd you get all the energy down? Emboar. Emboar lets you attach as much fire energy as you like, and it is 2 stage 2s we're using together, but Magnezone draws enough cards that you can get around it. We then had Reshiram as a basic attacker, because free energy 120 discard 2 with Emboar really not a problem, and if you don't KO it, Outrage does lots of damage back. And then we've got Rayquaza and Deoxys Legend. Now this is a Legend card, so you had to play 2 halves at the same time. But we had Ozone Buster, did 150 damage for 4 energy, which again, fine because we're playing Emboar. And Space Virus, if you take a KO with this, you take an extra prize card. Oh yeah. And again, 150 at the time was massive. You know, it's KO in these stage 2s. It's redonkulous, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely redonkulous. Yeah, it had a double weakness. Yeah, it gave up 2 prizes. But it also took 2 prizes and was massive. Good card. In terms of trainers, there really wasn't that much new here, but we should probably give a shout out to Fisherman, because it got all your energy back to attach with Emboar. And by this point, we had Twins, which was phenomenal, because if you were behind on prizes, search for any 2 cards. And it's a setup deck. You're probably going to be behind on prizes. Oh, and I should actually mention Cleffa here, because for 0 energy, you shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 cards and go to sleep, but if you're asleep, you're immune to damage. So hopefully you're asleep on your opponent's turn and wake up on your own, but if you get KO'd, you turn Twins on, so it's not too bad. Oh, and back then we also had Junkon, which is one of the best cards you've ever seen, because it let you discard 2 cards from your hand and grab a trainer card from your discard pile. It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. Trainers back then were what we would call item cards now. Oh, and Professor Oak's new theory was lovely. Shove your hand into your deck, draw 6. Soon as you get your Magnezone rolling here, you are off. So there we go. That's episode number 2. That's 2008 to 2011. 4 world's winning decks. Nice brief overview of them. And I'm going to be back tomorrow showing you 2012 to 2016. But for now, I want to hear from you guys. Which of these was your favourite deck? Which is the one that was most surprising to you? Which of these ones do you love looking back and finding out about? Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Kiridan, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.